Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer 2 Battle Replay, or should I say 2? We're playing 2, both of which with the new Shadow and the Blade DLC, both of which featuring Malus Darkblade, and both featuring Indypride of Milk and Cookies Total War, who was kind enough to play some games with me. So, this is all so last minute, by the way. The build, the early access build changed at the last minute, and I didn't realise that all my replays that I played with people a few days ago broke, so this is the day before the embargo. So, yeah, I'm amazed. I'm amazed I managed to find someone online. So, thank you, Indypride. Thank you. Everyone, go tell him how great he is. So here you can see I have a bunch of dread spears, but you guys don't care about that. No, you don't. Here's Malus Darkblade. Here he is. Here's the love. So yeah, I mean, he's a dark elf, isn't he? He looks like a dark elf. He looks cool, and I know a lot of people, you know, big fans of Malus. You know, I've read a lot of his books. You know, fine. To me, I've always just got a bit of a thing on, yeah, he looks edgy, doesn't he? He looks edgy. He looks the appropriate level of edgy. So, he's a cool addition, though, mainly due to his abilities. So here, Zarkan. So Malus Darkblade is actually possessed by a demon, which usually would be inconvenient. For him, it's brilliant. Very, very useful, because Zarkan is an absolute beast. Really, really helpful for I don't know, killing his enemies and things. So, very, very cool. Also here, you can see, he does have the Warp Sword of Cain, which, very, very handy. Any Sword of Cain is pretty great. The Warp Sword is too. So here you can see, it actually replenishes his hit points when he's in melee, and gives him some damage resistance, which is very, very nice indeed. So, he can turn into Zarkan, which is wild, but for now he's got the Demon's Curse, which is a brilliant AoE debuff of melee defense and leadership, and he's also got the Blood Price, which just buffs his own attack damage. Pretty huge amount, honestly. Gives him some damage resistance and plus 60% armor piercing and weapon damage, which is pretty damn good. So, pretty nice. Oh, and he's got Deadly Onslaught. But yeah, so pretty beefy, you know, good armor, all the rest of it. But the main thing is, yeah, he can turn into Zarkan. Yeah, that's the main thing, because this will actually replace his model with a new unit, which is him possessed. It swaps him out for a different unit. So as soon as you use this, you get the new unit with a full, you know, full health pool, ready to fight from scratch. But Zarkan will take damage over time, just from existing, like a summoned unit would. So he's super unique like that. But it's pretty great just to get a completely extra health pool with an unbreakable unit as well, as Zarkan is. So you'll see him. He's wild. I love him. I think he's really interesting. So here, also got Sorceress of Fire, which you've all seen before. Here, we have a Master, which is basically like a Dark Elf Lord in training. Not quite there yet. Just a hero at this point. Has Guardian, Helm of Many Eyes, to up armor and melee attack of units, which is very nice. Also here, you can see Potion of Strength to up his own damage. And Deadly Onslaught to do the same. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Similar to a Noble for High Elves, so, you know, anti-large. You can give them a flying mount. You can give them the Dark Pegasus instead of an Eagle. You can put them on a chariot as well. It's the Scourge Runner Chariot, I believe. The new Scourge Runner Chariot, which you'll see in a second too. And here, this, I think, is the sort of best centerpiece for the new units. The Bloodrack Medusa. You can also get Bloodrack Medusas on foot, but this is the Bloodrack Shrine, which is pretty cool. So really good missile damage, which is really nice. Good splash damage, and she fires while moving, which is awesome. And in combat, this chick will be blasting things while she's up there, while this is running over people. But here you can see there's the Aura of Ardor, which will actually up melee attack for nearby units, as well as leadership, and it'll lower enemy leadership and melee defense, which is pretty cool. Also causes terror. Just very, very cool unit. Way over here, Scourge Runner Chariots. I actually brought 3 of these to this fight, and they're pretty damn cool. I think they're, like, in a way, they're better than the Cold One Chariots, because, like, they've still got pretty good armor at 80. They don't have the armor piercing in melee, but they do have armor piercing and bonus versus large for missile damage. And that's kind of how I tended to use the Cold One Chariots. I just have them whittle away at anything expensive, and then just charge into sort of light infantry a lot of the time, because I never really wanted them to run into particularly heavy infantry, because I didn't want them to get bogged down and then taken out by lords and heroes. There was something I wanted the enemy cavalry to have to try and deal with, and I could give them a bit of a wild goose chase. But these do that better, because they're quicker. They're a lot quicker with 84 speed. So I love them. They're a bit more flimsy, but they're really good. Really good addition. So, also, you might notice this map is awesome. We're on a black arc. We're on a black arc, guys. And as you can see, you could really tell that we're on a black arc. And you really see the scale of it, and the majesty of it, and the horror of it. Whereas the other Black Ark map, you were right on top of it, so you couldn't really tell. You know, you couldn't really see the sort of boatiness. So it's a bit of a shame, really. But this is wild, you know, with these big ramps as well. I think it's amazing. I think it's super cool. So I love this map. Anyway, over here, yes, Indypride. He's got a Master Assassin. I'm actually going to speed things up because it takes a while to get over this bridge, honestly. It's quite a big map. So here, Master Assassin, concealment bombs, obviously, he's an assassin. He has Looming Dread, which will lower speed, missile resistance, and melee defense of a unit, which is very cool. It's a very good ability. Also here, Rival Hide Talisman to lower melee attack. You know, just like the actual assassin's got as well, which is very nice. So, you know, you can actually bring the Rival Hide Talisman on an assassin to back him up as well. Then you got, you know, you can use it twice, so that's a whole minute of people barely being able to hit you, which is wild. Also Slippery. He's also got the Sacred Banner of the Horned Rat, which lowers leadership of nearby units, which is very, very handy. So he's got some great tools, the Master Assassin. Oh, and missile damage as well. That is anti-infantry and poison. And he's got Weeping Blade on his melee attacks, which is high at 60. He's really good. I really like him. So, Indypride's also brought a couple of Warp Grinders. So, Warp Grinders, if you didn't see them in the previous replays that I've shown on the channel, you can see he's got Seismic Snare and Warp Quake. So, really cool abilities. So, one does damage and slows, and the other one just nets things down. Really, really cool. Not if they're flying, though. It's only stuff on the ground, which makes sense. So, a couple of Rat Ogres in the back, a Plague Claw Catapult, and you can see Blight Scab's Plague Pack, and a couple of Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, which you don't often see. Don't often see them. Also, Eshin Triads. These are new as well, if you didn't see them in the last one. Basically just like little sort of ninja halberd units. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. They also have Weeping Blade. So, anti-large, very low armor, but they stalk, and yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. So anyway, quite flimsy though. Quite flimsy. But, yeah. Can't really see them at range, so pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty niche. Anyway, over here, I'm trying to whittle some of these units away, but you can see, actually, just from the ranged damage from these Scourge Runner Chariots, I'm doing some really good damage to the Warp Grinders. And that's the thing, I want to whittle them down, because I know that if they catch out my Scourge Runner Chariots, Indypride will be able to follow up with the Rat Ogres, or even the Sensor Bearers, honestly, with all that armor piercing and discouragement and everything. They could deal with the Scourge Runner Chariots very quickly. Very quickly. So, it's pretty scary stuff. So yeah, I want to whittle them down. Even though that's not the best target for the ranged attacks, if I can get rid of them, I'm more safe to get through any of the other infantry with my Scourge Runners. So, starting to push up, and 16 kills with the Bloodrack Shrine already, which is ridiculous. That was just one shot. I mean, it's slaves, so it doesn't really matter, but still, pretty damn good. So, units are charging in. Dread Spears getting involved. Lovely. Still just whittling things down with the chariots. Did charge into these guys a bit. I am trying to whittle them down, but I sort of ran into myself here, and the chariots have got messed up, which is a real pity. And also, yeah, clearly a bit rusty. I had all my guys grouped, and I usually have them all grouped to begin with, charge in, and then I peel things off. But I didn't peel off my sorceress, so she ended up like just charging straight in. And yeah, and I completely, yeah, that was a total catastrophe. Yeah, I used the Burning Skull, and it immediately veered off course. So, just that my spellcaster's having a bad day, guys. That's basically it. My spellcaster's having a terrible day. So, more catapults coming in. Here, I've got Malus trying to chase down the Master Assassin. But this was also quite amusing. Indypride was also having a bit of a silly time. Here, he forgot that he had him on skirmish mode. So, the Master Assassin was running away from him, even though he hit me with Brittle Bone upgraded to try and help him win the duel. Yeah, and he used the other debuff as well, the Looming Dread on Malus. But yeah, didn't get any benefit from it. But oh well. So over here, 52 kills, the Bloodrack Shrine now, which is very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Scourge Runner Chariot still just running around, trying to do what they can, but not getting a huge amount of kills, honestly. Not getting a huge amount of kills, which is a bit of a pity. But they'll get there. Sorceress of Fire now getting chased down by the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers. Here you can see my Master is really struggling. At this point, I actually thought he had a healing potion, because his items had changed when the build got updated. So, yeah, that's the thing. With early access, the build changes quite regularly, and the odd things get swapped about. They do listen to a lot of feedback and swap things around. Before, he actually had the Potion of Toughness, which is the healing potion, but it's got changed for a Potion of Strength, which I think is way better, because he was way too good with the Potion of Toughness. There's a reason they took the Potions of Toughness off, like, the Gorbals in Game 1. That was ridiculous if anyone remembers that. Gorbals used to be able to just heal themselves up with a potion. It was silly. It was insane. Absolutely mad. Same with a load of heroes and lords. It was madness. But, yeah, the Master almost had that. But nope, nope, not anymore, not anymore. So that's good news. So anyway, Bloodrack Shrine still just doing great work here. 85 kills, absolutely wonderful. Malus now is going to be coming in, trying to deal with the assassin now. In you go, mate. In you go. Brilliant. Eshin Sorcerer has taken considerable damage already. And over here, you can see the Warp Grinders keeping the Scourge Runner chariots bogged down. And they're getting whittled down pretty quickly. It's not looking great for him. Not looking great for him. But over here, come on, Malus, they're just Skaven slaves. Just get through the Skaven slaves, mate. Come on. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Come on, you're on a dinosaur. This should be fine. So, buff him with the Blood Price and Deadly Onslaught. So, 833 weapon strength. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie. It's pretty damn good. So, the Master Assassin, with his only 30 armor, he's getting completely melted. Yeah, so there he goes. But sadly, so is the Bloodrack Shrine. He's running off. Brittle Bone, whittling down her melee defense by a huge margin to only 0. That's right, only 0. Yeah, not great. So she's off. Also, only 10 melee attack. I'm not sure what's caused that, honestly, because she should have more than that. So a little bit confused by that, but okay. Interesting. Why is that? Won't tell me. No idea. Anyway, now Malus has beaten up the Eshin Sorcerer. So that's the Lord and Hero basically dealt with. Although the Master Assassin is still in the game. He can return and he's still got his debuffs. He doesn't have to get involved necessarily. So, Chariot's now charging in the rear. Not too bad here. And sadly, the Bloodrack Shrine is getting pinned in place, as is Malus. And of course the I keep saying seismic. The seismic snare doesn't affect allies. So these guys can all keep moving and chase me down, which is a right hassle. So, Bloodrack Shrine needs to get involved. Here, Malus, so injured, it looks like everything's about to break, so I quickly turn him into Zarkan. And now we can look at his other abilities. So Zarkan here has 2 abilities. Oh, so also he has Frenzy. He has Frenzy, Murderous Prowess, he is Zarkan. He's Unbreakable, Immune Psychology because he's unbreakable, causes Fear, and he has 2 active abilities, Bloodstorm, which will be an explosion, doesn't affect friendly troops, and puts up his damage resistance. So pretty damn cool. Also, Reaper of Souls. It's basically Soul Stealer. It damages stuff nearby and gives him just gives him health back. It's really cool. But he does take damage over time like a summoned unit would. So, yeah. Oh, also an interesting thing, it resets his kill counter because he's technically a different unit now. He's a different unit. He's not the same guy. But it does manage to add them up for the end screen, so you will always know how well they both did. You know, Malus and Zarkan. So pretty cool. Also, his model has changed. His model's changed as well. You can see he's sort of on fire. Yeah. So, yeah, he's been possessed. It's pretty cool. So, yep, he's doing well. 61 kills so far. He basically just turned up. It's pretty extraordinary. And over here, the Master managed to just get the charge on the Master Assassin. He was concealed, but I just managed to click on him in time. It looks like the Master, my only other person left, has managed to deal with him. Proud of you. Proud of you, mate. Real proud of you. And then over here, yeah, just Darkblade's killing everybody over here, which is great. Which is great. I mean, this was looking really bad for me. This is looking real bad for me. But it still kind of is, because Malus is just losing health over time. Or Zarkan, I suppose, now. I think Malus is still in there. It's hard to tell. But, yeah, he's taking damage over time. Just from existing. Yep, there you go. Big chunk of health gone. And again. Ooh, dear. Yeah, it's not good. It's just, it's real bad. It's real bad. It's really weird, though. It seems to sometimes put his health down, sometimes not. Like each tick, it seems slightly randomized, which is super weird. But either way, he takes damage over time. So here, coming in, trying to do what he can. And, oh, God, just please kill faster. Please kill faster. Bounce power, really not in my favor. Just you can see, it's just going down and down and down, despite no one's fighting, and it's going down. And, oh, the Master just shattered. Bounce power got too low, so he's off. That affected the bounce power further. But, of course, we are unbreakable. So we'll be getting some health back, as well as losing some health. Which is, you know, he's hanging in there, doing some good damage to enemies. Which is good. 122 kills now. Pretty damn good. Oh, God, I love this guy. Yeah, but he does just die over time. So, a bit of a tough one. But, yeah, there he goes. Yeah. He's a weird one. He's a weird one, old Malus. I love him, though. I think he's brilliant. I think it's super cool. I think he's a really good addition, just because he behaves unlike any other lord. You know, the fact that he literally gets taken off of the map and a new unit is put there in his place with different abilities, it's super unique. It is super unique. We just don't have anything like that at all. We just don't. So it's great to see something different on the battle map. It's not just like different abilities, it's something like a different mechanic completely. It's something that the game hadn't shown it could even do before, which I think is so cool. I think it's really interesting. You gotta be really careful with him though. You gotta be really careful with him. You gotta make sure that you turn him into Zarkan in time, because well, you'll see, it could be tough, because yeah, you just lose out on that additional health bar and an additional unit essentially if you don't use that in time. So here you can see Blood Rack Shrine, absolutely wonderful, 144 kills. That missile attack racks up a ton of kills, and also the Blood Rack Shrine is such a dangerous thing, and it can soak up a lot of damage and a lot of heat. It's really good, and causing terror, like in the middle there, the buffs and debuffs, it's a really good support sort of chariot that can also just get these big chunks of damage into units. So I think really interesting unit. I think she's like 1700 or something. So similar cost to like a Hydra or something. It's pretty pricey. Scourge Runner Chariots I think are really good. I didn't necessarily use them the best in this battle. You know, I was playing pretty fast and loose with them. My Sorceress obviously just ran in like an idiot. So there were mistakes made, but mostly it was about Malus, and I think Malus showed he can really get some work done. So absolutely loved that. And yeah, amazing to see Plague Monk Sensor Bearers for once. So anyway, Assassin as well. Beautiful. Love it. Good stuff. Anyway, we're going to play another one. So I'll see you there. And here we are. So, I mean, how can we show anything Dark Elf related without having them fight the High Elves, right? I mean, it's impossible. It's impossible, frankly. So here, you can see I am playing as the High Elves, and I brought Tyrion, because I wanted to see how he did fighting just the best duelist in the game, quite frankly. Tyrion is an absolute powerhouse, and he's also got a friend here, the Lordmaster of Hoeth, you know, as the spellcaster, so really high melee defense is super useful in this kind of battle. So, yeah, pretty handy. Also, I figured Spirit Leech is going to be good against chariots. It's going to be good against the chariots, I reckon. So, that was my plan. Anyway, so here I actually brought a ton of cavalry, a load of silver helms, not with shields though. Probably should have done, even though they are cheaper. I kind of wanted to go more with a lot rather than... Yeah, honestly, thinking about it, I probably should have gone with Illyrian Reavers, because I needed something that can actually catch the chariots rather than just screen them, but here we are. Anyway, so got some archers as well. So it went cheap archers and just a bunch of spearmen, like just so many spearmen and so many archers. Because actually I kind of wanted to give the chariots a chance. That's the thing. I wanted to build an army that kind of had the tools, but also I wanted to see new units wreak havoc. So yeah, I had the tools to counter them, you know, but also I gave them a lot of things they can kill me with. So, you know, it's fair's fair. Fair's fair, I think. So anyway, over here you can see some Dark Riders with Peter Crossbows, always useful against the High Elves. Also, Scourge Runner Chariot, and a Scourge Runner Chariot that I didn't bring. It's the Regiment Renown. So Indypride here has brought the Ravagers of Rakath that have this fun little glow-in-the-dark pattern on them. Isn't that fun? Always good. So anyway, Ravagers of Rakath, very, very cool. They have poison on their missile damage as well as the armor piercing, which is really cool. So no bonus versus large, I don't think. Oh, nope, they still do. It just doesn't show the icon. 40 bonus versus large is obscene. But yeah, absolutely wild. These guys are great. Do really good chunk of damage, and the poison's really cool. But also, they have the barbed net. So it's a constant effect. Anything gets within 45 meters of them. So you can see the AoE there. Pretty significant. That's a pretty big range. Then gets netted with the barbed net, reducing their speed by 25% and lowering their missile resistance by 25%. So, yeah, add 25% damage to this, and that's how much damage they're going to do if anything gets too near them. The poison slows things down already. So, yeah, talking 25% debuff from that, another 24 from the poison. So we're talking 49% slow. It's crazy. It's crazy. Really cool unit. But, creme de la creme's here. Siren of Red Ruin. And also, there's another one somewhere. No? Oh, is it just the one in this battle? Oh, I think it was. Yeah, it was just the one in this battle. So, this is the Regiment of Renown. Blood Rack Medusa. So, very pricey, this one. But she's really capable. Here, she has 450 missile damage. The standard one has 375. Same as the Shrine version. Same missile attack. But it's really, really hefty. really hefty damage, and just better stats because of the chevrons being a regiment renowned. But the main thing, why I say the main thing? This feels to me more like a bonus. I feel like the main thing is the missile damage, but this is a nice bonus. She's got this AoE damage called the Whale of Malice. So 30-meter range around her, just stuff takes damage for 7 seconds. It's pretty good. You can use it twice, 90-second cooldown, which is pretty big. It's kind of nice. It's a kind of nice ability to have. It does about 800 damage to nearby things, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. If stuff really blobs up, she can run in with that terror, just do an extra, you know, sort of 700 or 800 damage to everything nearby, and that might be enough to trigger those, you know, those terror routes, which is very cool. So anyway, we're going to go full speed now, because, well, Indy's toying with me. Indy's going to toy with me. How dare he? So, we're going to start pushing up, and I will be taking some damage from the Dark Riders. Sadly, I didn't move out of the way in time, so hate these guys. Anyway, also getting some damage from the Scourge Runner chariots, obviously. And yeah, they can do some good damage. This one's already got a kill. And I'm trying to shoot them with the archers, but honestly, the archers just... they don't register enough hits against the Scourge Runner chariots. They have pretty small profiles. And yeah, I mean, that 80 armor is pretty good. You know, I was hoping I'd just chase them off a bit with the archers, but honestly, they can tank a lot of damage. It's not good. I'm suffering a lot more in this skirmish than Indypride is. So anyway, here, he's coming in with the Siren of Red Ruin, and gonna get a nice shot in a second. And look at that. It's devastating. So 90 spearmen, 71 spearmen. That's one hit. Odd miss occasionally, but still, that is huge. The splash damage on their attacks are incredible. That's really what the Blood Rat Medusa is for. It's that splash damage. So here, I actually hit her with a Spirit Leech, and then stab her in the back with Tyrion. And as you can see, I've done some pretty good damage to her already. So that's what you want to do. Also, only 30 armor on a Blood Rat Medusa. Basically, how I see these guys, they're the Dark Elf equivalent of the Ancient Salamander. That's what you want to use them for. Okay, so you can terror bomb things, you know, once they're injured. But other than that, you just blast them from a distance, and that's how you do it. But I've noticed they're much better against flying units than the Salamanders are. That big, you know, slow projectile isn't so great. So over here, this was a bit silly. So I thought, you know what, maybe Indy's not paying attention. Maybe I can catch him out here. You know, I'll move these guys up. I can distract him. I'll just tell him to attack. You know, but no, he's got it on skirmish mode. So I'm never gonna be able to catch him, which is a shame. So it's not a matter of if he's paying attention. No, he's on skirmish mode. So I'm gonna double back and again see if he's paying attention. Try and chase the Dark Riders down. And if he's on skirmish mode, hopefully they'll just sit there. You know, I won't be getting shot at anymore, and he might forget about him. That's right, I'm playing mind games. So anyway, a load of units now charging in, doing what they can. I've lost so many Silver Helms already. There's just not a lot I can do with them, honestly. These guys are just... they're perfect for skirmishing. So I'm trying to get units stuck in. I've got some archers pushing up over here, trying to get some damage into the Dark Riders. But, I mean, my archers are super vulnerable back here. I'm trying to keep them protected with my cavalry, but my cavalry are getting just completely slaughtered. So over here, Knights of the Ebenclaw ran in. And best thing to deal with the Knights of the Ebenclaw, in my opinion, is Spirit Leech. So I'm going to hit him with a Spirit Leech in a second. Any second now. So here you can see a Word of Pain has been used on Tyrion, but Tyrion's not really doing anything, it doesn't really matter. So there's that Spirit Leech, and I charge in with my healthier Silver Helms, using Earth Blood to try and keep the Spearmen in the fight. Malus was in here trying to do some work, but look at that. Good damage against the Knights of the Ebenclaw. Spirit Leech is perfect for that. I was hoping to actually test that on the Chariot, but I didn't. So, whoops. Also here, Siren of Red Ruin. You can see getting stuck into melee here, getting surrounded by Silver Helms. She does take a bit of damage, but it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to be able to get rid of these guys, honestly. She can tank a fair bit of hurt. You know, she can hold her own against these units. She does so much damage in kind. It's risky. You know, a lot of single models like that, once you got them bogged down by cavalry, they're toast. And now, with my cavalry gone, there is a huge hole here in my defenses. So, oh, and these cav are still trying to chase down the Dark Riders. It's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a mess. It really is. So anyway, nice Ebenclaw, super injured, and there's another Spirit Leech. Should hopefully start finishing them off. More cavalry are running away. Tyrion's cool though. He's doing alright. Lawmaster's healthy. You know, it's not all bad. It's pretty bad. It's not all bad. So anyway, my cavalry did come back, and I don't notice for some time. They were so injured when they ran, I didn't actually think they were coming back, so I didn't think to look. Oops. Anyway, so Silver Helms are trying to bog down what they can. I did manage to trap quite a lot of the Dark Riders, which is good. Because yeah, if I can kill some of them, that's great. Because they have a lot of ammo left. They can do so much work before they're dead. So here, all my archers are trying to kill them before they're killed. That's all I'm doing. Also over here, I'm trying to whittle down these witch elves as fast as possible, because I cannot afford to have the witch elves rampage anything. So I just want them dead. Power of Darkness has been used on them. Fair enough, they're going to be dead in a second anyway, but it's helping me kill them, so thanks. Thanks, Indy. It's all good. So over here, final Spirit Leech to finish off the Knights of the Ebon It's taken 3 Spirit Leeches, but they're dead. 35 kills. It's not huge. Not huge, so I feel good that they're dead. That's a very big investment. Although, I'm starting to think I should have just been using Spirit Leech on the Siren of Red Ruin, because my word, she can dish out some punishment, for sure. So, now dealing with Bleak Sword, so I'm going to get my Silver Helms up and around, charge into the rear, and now I finally noticed I had my Silver Helms back, and the Ravagers of Rakarth had run out of ammunition, so I'm able to catch them out. And what's good is they don't have a lot of mass, not a huge amount. Not a huge amount. Certainly not enough to push through cavalry. So the fact that a couple are caught out here, this one's going to keep running away, but as soon as Indy stops ordering them to run, this guy's going to come back with the rest of his unit. And so I'm able to get some really good damage here, and he just can't escape. So that's nice. It's good for me. It's good for me. It's definitely good for me. So over here, Tyrion is going to try and get on top of that Sorceress of Dark, and huge chunk of health gone in one hit. I mean, that's the thing. He's just a great duelist. He can kill spellcasters, no problem. So she's trying to get out of there. I'm chasing her down with Foe Seeker as well. 2 hits, half a health gone. Lovely, lovely stuff. But here comes a Soul Stealer, and it looks like, yep, he is able to actually do it in time. And here is Malus coming in here, trying to help her, deal with Tyrion. And he has the blood price used, so 720 weapon strength right now. That's pretty scary. That is pretty scary. So here, using Feint and Repose to put my melee defense up to 96 and melee attack up to 101. Suddenly, I mean, it's huge weapon damage versus just better stats. So it's kind of weird, but he does seem to be getting lucky and hitting me a fair few times. So it's not looking great for me. Not looking great. And here, still a spellcaster, and the Siren of Red Ruin is still in the fight. So over here, still trying to deal with the Ravagers of Rakarth. Amazingly, I haven't got rid of them yet. Here, beautiful little Sunfang, try and whittle through with Tyrion. Tyrion's on 92 kills right now, which is kind of nice. Trying to whittle them down so Tyrion can focus and just deal with Malus. So over here, you can see I do have my Lawmaster Hoeth. And although the Siren of Red Ruin is an absolute powerhouse, absolute machine, she doesn't have the best melee attack. She actually doesn't have the best melee attack. It's pretty good against heavy cavalry that don't tend to have very good melee defense, but against something like a Lawmaster of Hoeth, she just can't hit. And here, 96 melee defense on Tyrion now, thanks to Stand Your Ground. There's just no hitting them. They just don't have a high enough base attack to really do a lot of work against sort of more dueling characters. Against units like heavy cavalry, and with that missile attack, huge potential, but you really want to goon them. You get on top of them with any Lords or Heroes or single models, you're going to wipe the floor with them. That's how you deal with them. That's how you do it. Or, actually, just shoot at them with archers, because they only have 30 armor. So, there's ways to deal with them. But, as you can see, they can do a lot of hurt. So over here, I am chasing down the Sorceress of Dark, and Heart of Avalon had proc, so Tyrion's back and fighting again, and then suddenly, balance of power shifting, and no. Yep. That's what I warned you guys of. So, Zarkan's coming in, but it was too late. Malus got removed, and then Zarkan got put in after the game was already over. So, you've really got to use that ability in time. Because that's the thing, Zarkan's unbreakable. You can't lose from army losses. You can't have your army break if there's something unbreakable in it. So, if Zarkan had been procced, a couple seconds earlier, literally a couple seconds earlier, I'd have to fight Zarkan right now. Which, yeah, he can do pretty well. So, yeah, could have gone either way. But that's the thing, you've got to watch out. You've got to use that ability in time, or you lose, essentially, an entire unit that you're paying for. So, you've got to watch out for that. So, let's end the replay. So, between these two matches, I mean, we've really managed to show off the new units pretty well here, I think. Here, just Scourge Runner Chariots, if they're able to get into light infantry, they can do so much work. They can really do a lot of work. And they are surprisingly tanky, I did manage to catch out these guys with Silver Helms, and my word, they just stayed alive for a long time. They're not easy. They're not easy to knock aside. They're pretty damn capable. I think Skaven have a better chance against some things like Giselles and stuff. You can snipe them down. Cannons, any artillery like that, I think is going to do great. But against factions relying on just sort of archers, I think they can do great. I think they can do really well. I think they're a really cool addition. Also, Blood Rack Medusas, brilliant missile attacks, and just those quick sort of charges in and out to cause terror. They're super useful, really cool, but not the best duelists. Speaking of not the best duelists, Malus isn't necessarily the best duelist, but he's a great support lord that can turn into a great damage dealer. But it's all about crowds with him, it seems. Although he can get, you know, a huge spike in damage, his base stats aren't the best. So if he's fighting something, you know, sort of a spellcaster lord or something that doesn't necessarily have the best combat stats, he can just put his damage up so much he can kill him in 2 hits. You know, that's amazing. But against like a proper duelist, he just doesn't have the. I think it makes sense. Sort of in the context of like what he is in this. He's just sort of a raging monster when he turns to the demon. So the idea of sort of the character's a bit more finesse, being able to sort of parry that and control that, I think is really cool. I think he fits a really interesting niche in the meta. So yeah, big crowd control stuff without being a spellcaster, which is unique for sure. So yeah, I really like him. I think he's a really cool pick. But got to make sure that you get Zarkan out soon enough. He takes damage over time, so you don't want to use him too soon, but you don't want to use him too late. And that makes him a really interesting character that I can't wait to see what people do with. Because, oh, it'll be so exciting, you know? Just those clutch moments where suddenly Zarkan turns up and wins the day. I can't wait to see those. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, then please do comment, like, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.